Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudtirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 12th chapter, Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Text number 24 onwards. Sarva Sadguna Gun Mahatmaya Esha Krishna Manuvrita Ranti Devi Vodharo Yayatir Iv Dharmikaha. This child will be almost as good as Lord Shri Krishna by following in his footsteps. In magnanimity, he will become as great as King Rantidev, and in religion, he will be like Maharaj Yayati. So just imagine how great Maharaj Parikshit is. So Brahmins are saying that this child, like King Parikshit, he'll be almost as good as Krishna. This child will be almost as good as Lord Shri Krishna. And then they said he'll be in charity, he'll be equal to Rantidev. So what is Prabhupada gives little synopsis of Rantidev. An ancient king prior to the Mahabharata period, referred to by Narad Muni while instructing Sanjay, as mentioned in Mahabharata. He was a great king, liberal for hospitality and distribution of foodstuffs. Even Lord Shri Krishna praised his acts of charity and hospitality. He was blessed by the great Vasishtha Muni for supplying him cold water, and thus he achieved the heavenly planet. He used to supply fruits, roots, and leaves to the rishis, and thus he was blessed by them with fulfillment of his desires. Although a Kshatriya by birth, he never ate flesh in his life. He was especially hospitable to Vasishtha Muni, and by his blessings only he attained the higher planetary residence. He is one of those pious kings whose names are remembered in the morning and the evening. So the story of Rantidev, Maharaj Rantidev, it will come in Bhagavatam later on. So just to give you a little background of his greatness in charity and hospitality. So once Maharaj Rantidev, he decided to perform austerity. So fasting. So his thing was he would fast. Not just him, his whole family, his wife and his kids. So as usual, when we read in the case of Maharaj Shivi, demigods tried to check his vows. They wanted to test him. So in case of Maharaj Rantidev also, demigods tried to test him. So Maharaj Rantidev and the whole family fasted for 48 days. 48 days continuous without even a sip of water. So after 48 days, when they were about to break the fast, now that is when the test comes. So they had full plate of prashadam and they were about to eat. And then some Brahman showed up at the door and he said, "Give me some alms, give me some charity." So Maharaj Rantidev gave him his plate of prashadam. Then again he was about to eat, then somebody else, some poor person showed up. "Give me, I haven't eaten for so many days." He said, "Give me something to eat." So Maharaj Rantidev, true to his word, he took the prashadam from his family's share and he gave him everything. And then there was nothing left to eat. So he was about to drink water. And at that time, a Chandal came with his dogs at the door of Maharaj Rantidev. "I am very thirsty. My dogs are very thirsty. Please give me some water." So Maharaj Rantidev gave him the water that he was about to drink and his family was about to drink. So even at that condition, in that situation, he wasn't disturbed at all. He was happily doing it. So later on, when he gave everything away, then all the demigods showed up in the real form and they gave him lots of blessings. They were testing him. So the testing really doesn't come when we are expecting it. When we are least expecting it, and when we are really desperate about something, that is the moment the test will come. That is when our patience, tolerance, this is tested. Do you really have patience? Do you really have tolerance? In like in a cozy situation, in comfortable situation, it's very nice to talk about all these wonderful qualities. But these qualities really come out when the situation is not comfortable. Situation is very severe, desperate situation we are in. And that is when, if we really have these qualities, they will come out. Otherwise, our real nature will come out. So that's why we have to keep on practicing it. Keep on practicing, keep on practicing. And one day we'll pass with flying colors. That's for sure. But just we have to keep on practicing. But testing will be there for sure. So please don't be afraid of the test. Now, second Brahman's talked about his equivalent to Maharaj Yayati. He'll be as dharmic, as religious as Yayati. So Yayati, the great emperor of the world and the original forefather of all great nations of the world who belong to the Aryan and Indo-European stock. He is the son of Maharaj Nahusha, and he became the emperor of the world due to his elder brothers becoming a great and liberated saintly mystic. He ruled over the world for several thousands of years and performed many sacrifices and pious activities recorded in history. Although his early youth was very lustful and full of romantic stories. So this is also Maharaj Yayati's story is also given in Bhagavatam. It's given in actually uh, different cantos. So in one canto, when the canto finishes, I'm forgetting which canto. I'm about to believe it is fifth canto. So where his towards the end, the story of Maharaj Yayati appears, and then the story goes to some other place. And then he appears again in, I believe, in 11th or 12th canto of Bhagavatam. So that story continues. So then that is a real end of that story over there. Because if you don't follow the story of Maharaj Yayati, then it remains a suspense. What happened? But it ends in the 11th or 12th canto. It ends over there. And also, like Prabhupada is saying, his early youth was very lustful and full of romantic stories. So we all are very crazy about these romantic stories. People go watch movies all the time, which is full of romantic stories, so-called romance. But the real romance, if somebody wants to see it, it's in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam to get the real romance. Not just of Maharaj Yayati, even the real romance of Lord Shri Krishna we can find in Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam has everything. Romance is there, love stories are there, fight is there, big time fights are there, all the politics is there, everything is there in Bhagavatam. So the story goes on further. He fell in love with Devayani, the most beloved daughter of Shukracharya. Devyani wished to marry him, but at first he refused to accept her because of her being a daughter of a Brahman. According to Shastras, a Brahman could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but a Kshatriya could not marry the daughter of a Brahman. They were very much cautious about Varna Sankar population in the world. Shukracharya amended this law. Shukracharya, being such a great, powerful Brahman, he amended this law of forbidden marriage and induced Emperor Yayati to accept Devayani. Devayani had a girlfriend named Sharmishtha, who also fell in love with the emperor and thus went with her friend Devyani. So now we see the twist in the story. So Devyani's friend Sharmishta also fell in love with the emperor, and like at the time of marriage, the girl used to take her girlfriends. The bride used to take her girlfriends with her. So Sharmishta went with Devyani. Now, it so happened, like here Prabhupada didn't mention, but when we go to the real story in Bhagavatam, this girl Sharmishta was actually more pretty than Devyani. She was more beautiful. So Shukracharya was afraid that Maharaj Yayati would get attracted to Sharmishta. So he forbade Emperor Yayati to call Sharmishta into his bedroom. But Yayati could not strictly follow his instruction. He secretly married Sharmishta also and begot sons by her. So, so these things don't just happen in Kali Yuga, it used to happen in Satyuga also. When this was known by Devyani, she went to her father and lodged a complaint. Yayati was much attached to Devyani, and when he went to his father-in-law's place to call her, Shukracharya was angry with him and cursed him to become impotent. Yayati begged his father-in-law to withdraw his curse, but the sage asked Yayati to ask youthfulness from his sons and let them become old as the condition of his becoming potent. He had 5 sons, 2 from Devyani and 3 from Sharmishta. From his 5 sons, namely first Yadu, Turvashu, Dhruyu, Anu, and Puru, 5 famous dynasties, namely the Yadu dynasty. So the Yadu dynasty is in which Krishna appeared. The Yavan or Turk dynasty, so where the Turkish people came from or the Mughals came from. So Bhoja dynasty, the Mlecha dynasty, Greek, so they came from Anu, and the Paurav dynasty, all emanated to spread all over the world. So basically all these dynasties came from Maharaj Yayati. He reached the heavenly planets by dint of his pious acts, but he fell down from there because of his self-advertisement and criticizing other great souls. After his fall, his daughter and grandson bestowed upon him their accumulated virtues, and by the help of this grandson and friend, Shibi, he was again promoted to the heavenly kingdom, becoming one of the assembly members of Yamraj, with whom he is staying as a devotee. So he is still in the assembly of Yamraj. So this details will come later on about Maharaj Yayati. It's a wonderful story, and this Sharmishta and Devyani story ends there, and then later on he picks up the story when he about his taking the youth from one of his sons. I think Puru or Yadu, one of the sons. He gave him his youth. And Maharaj Yayati, then, like according to the curse of Shukracharya, he said, you lose your potency, but if your son gives you the potency, the son will become old and you will get the potency. So son, he became old, he gave his youth to his father. Other sons said, they said, no, we're not going to give. So Maharaj Yayati again enjoyed the youthful body for some time. And then later on he realized, what is this? What I'm doing? This whole world is nonsense. Like Prabhupada is also saying in this purport, he performed more than 1,000 different sacrifices, gave in charity very liberally, and was a very influential king. His majestic power was felt all over the world. His youngest son agreed. Yes, so younger son, Puru Maharaj, he gave his youth, agreed to award him his youthfulness when he was troubled with lustful desires, even for 1,000 years. Finally, he became detached from worldly life and returned the youthfulness again to his son Puru. It was possible in those days. I mean, it wasn't like you have to eat some special ginseng to achieve youthfulness or achieve some strength in the body. He wanted to hand over the kingdom to Puru, but his noblemen and the subjects did not agree. But when he explained to his subjects the greatness of Puru, they agreed to accept Puru as a king, and thus Emperor Yayati retired from family life and left home for the forest. So this is where this real story ends. So how Yayati Maharaj also um, attained this renunciation. Although in the youthful, when he was young, he had lots of romantic stories, and in fact he also enjoyed with one of the Apsaras of heaven. I think it was Urvashi. Okay, text 25. Dhritya bali sama Krishne prahlad sadagraha ahartashu ashwamedhanam vridhanam paryupasakaha. This child will be like Bali Maharaj in patience, a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj, a performer of many Ashwamedh horse sacrifices, and a follower of the old and experienced men. So see the wonderful qualities of Parikshit Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities in the devotional service of the Lord. Bali Maharaj is a great authority in devotion service because he sacrificed everything to please the Lord and relinquished the connection of his so-called spiritual master who obstructed him on the path of risking everything for the service of the Lord. So this story of Bali Maharaj and Lord Vaman Dev is given in 8th canto of Bhagavatam. So we'll study in detail over there. So Bali Maharaj, he was a grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. And although born in the family of demons, he was also a great devotee. And he, in his, when he was performing this yajna after defeating Indra and taking over his kingdom, Lord Vamandev appeared over there, and he begged from Bali Maharaj 3 steps of land. Wonderful incident, and then Vamandev in 3 steps, he just, in 2 steps only, he covered the whole universe. And 3rd step, Bali Maharaj asked him to keep it on the head of Bali Maharaj. So wonderful story. Bali Maharaj is one of the 12 Mahajans, 12 authorities. And like when we study about different different parts of devotional service, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padsevanam, Archanam, Mandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So in Atma Nivedanam, Bali Maharaj is considered as an example. He surrendered fully. So that is Bali Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was son of Hiranyakashipu, and again we will read this story in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Nrsimhadev appeared specially to protect Prahlad Maharaj because he was harassed so much by Hiranyakashipu. He had 4 sons. The eldest son, Virochan, is the father of Bali Maharaj, mentioned above. So that is the story of Prahlad Maharaj. We'll see, read that in detail. In 7th canto, it goes in many chapters, actually. In fact, 7th canto, many chapters are devoted to the story of Hiranyakashipu, many chapters about the story of Prahlad Maharaj, and only 1 chapter for Nrsimhadev. And although, I mean, Lord Nrsimhadev came, and we should read more about Nrsimhadev, but Shukdev Goswami spoke more about on Prahlad Maharaj and his activities. Because Nrsimhadev, he just came and he just killed Hiranyakashipu, he sat around for a while and he left. That's all his pastimes were. Unlike Krishna and Ram, their pastimes were longer. They took birth and then they went around for so many years. But Nrsimhadev, just one day, that's it. He came and he went. So for him, they just gave 1 chapter. Text 26. Rajarshinam janeta shasta chotpat gaminam nigrihita kaleresha bhuvo dharmasya karanat. This child will be the father of kings who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he will be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome. The wisest man in the world is a devotee of the Lord. The sages are called wise men, and there are different types of wise men for different branches of knowledge. Unless, therefore, the king or the head of the state is a wisest man, he cannot control all types of wise men in the state. So, in the line of royal succession in the family of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all the kings, without exception, were the wisest men of their times. Wisest man, that Prabhupada is writing, wisest man is a devotee of the Lord. So, they were all devotees of the Lord. So, such wise kings can become chastisers of the upstarts and uprooters of Kali or quarrelsome elements. So, this is the major responsibility of such devoted kings. As will be clear in the chapters ahead, Maharaj Parikshit wanted to kill the personified Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow, the emblem of peace and religion. The symptoms of Kali are wine, women, gambling, and slaughterhouses. So, wise rulers of all states should take lessons from Maharaj Parikshit in how to maintain peace and morality by subduing the upstarts and quarrelsome people who indulge in wine, illicit connection with women, gambling, and meat eating supplied by regularly maintained slaughterhouses. But in Kali Yuga, regular license is issued for maintaining all these different departments of quarrelsome people. So how can they expect peace and morality in the state? So Prabhupada is saying that these free licenses are given to break all of these four principles. So how can there be peace and morality? There's no way possible. But the government, because the government, the head of the state is not a devotee, and they're not following the scriptures. And basically, the aim is to make more and more money, put more and more taxes, and let people get addicted to all these four sinful activities. So they pay more money. They spend more money, and then we can get more money. That's why the life of devotees is very simple. It's very simple, and they don't need to spend a whole lot, because first they don't drink, they don't go for gambling, or they don't go for slaughterhouses. Simple food they have, simple life they have, and it's wonderful life to be a devotee actually. तक्षकादात्मनो मृत्युं द्विजपुत्रोपसर्जितात् प्रपत्यस्यत् उपश्रुत्य मुक्तसङ्गः पदं हरे. After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by a son of a Brahman, he will get himself freed from all material attachment and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him. So even this was foretold by the Brahmins, that he will do these things, and the son of a Brahman will send the snake bird to kill him. Material attachment and taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord go ill together. Material attachment means ignorance of transcendental happiness under the shelter of the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord, while existing in the material world, is a way to practice one's transcendental relation with the Lord. And when it is matured, one gets completely free from all material attachment and becomes competent to go back home, back to Godhead. Maharaj Parikshit, being especially attached to the Lord from the beginning of his body in the womb of his mother, was continuously under the shelter of the Lord. And the so-called warning of his death within 7 days from the date of the curse by the Brahman son was a boon to him, to enable him to prepare himself to go back home, back to Godhead. Since he was always protected by the Lord, he could have avoided the effect of such a curse by the grace of the Lord, but he did not take such undue advantage for nothing. Rather, he made the best use of a bad bargain. For 7 days continuously, he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from the right source, and thus he got shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord by that opportunity. So he used that opportunity of the curse that he would die in 7 days. He used that to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he became eligible to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. So Krishna made this arrangement to happen in the life of Maharaj Parikshit, so Bhagavatam could be spoken. And Bhagavatam was actually not spoken for Parikshit Maharaj's benefit, it was spoken for our benefit. So we could listen to Bhagavatam, we could read Bhagavatam, we could discuss Bhagavatam every day. So the idea is, if we listen to Bhagavatam, or if we read Bhagavatam in the same manner, in the same situation of desperateness, determination, the earnestness with which Maharaj Parikshit was listening to, then we would get the same result of taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because then there's nothing else would be left except taking shelter of the lotus feet. Bhagavatam induces pure love of Godhead within the heart of the reader. Reader means a sincere, faithful reader. So when that pure love of Godhead is bloomed inside the heart, then the person has nothing else to do but to take shelter of Krishna. So that is the advantage of studying Bhagavatam. So by mercy of Prabhupada, we don't have only the shlokas, we have the whole purport also that we can study and discuss and absorb the beauty of Bhagavatam. So that's what we should do. I mean, okay, this half an hour class is okay, but if we can spend half an hour more reading Bhagavatam, whatever shlokas we cover in a day, it'll be great. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have two questions with me. So it's regarding the description of Bali Maharaj when you were giving in this last purport. So first question is, why Bali Maharaj performed all those penances even though when his grandfather was Prahlad Maharaj? Isn't it the many previous and future generations get delivered when a pure devotee takes birth in a family? Then what was the need for him to do the penances?
Oh, that delivered, when Krishna says they get delivered, it means they get a chance to come to the platform of bhakti. It's not like they will go back home without doing anything.
Oh.
I'm going to mute you because there's some background sound. So they don't automatically get a chance to go back home back to Godhead. Going back home back to Godhead is only for persons who have no material desires and who have full love for Krishna or whichever Vaikuntha planet they want to go to. But they get a chance, very good chance, to come to the platform of bhakti because they're born in the family where a pure devotee was born. And Maharaj Bali, he was a king. He was, although he was a demon king, and he had to fight with the demigods, and his guru was Shukracharya. So under his guidance, he had to fight, and Shukracharya knew Bali Maharaj has to perform all these sacrifices to get powers to defeat the demigods. So these sacrifices are very, very important for all demons or demigods. They keep on performing those. Is that okay?
So the deliverance means that the chance to get the pure devotional service.
Or chance to come in the association of devotees.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. So this was the first. The second question is, during the the yagya, the Bali Maharaj was performing, the time at which Lord Vaman Dev comes. So he acted against the instruction of his spiritual master when Shukracharya ji was saying not to give that promise. So how does it is been taken in Srimad Bhagavatam or in ISKCON? I mean, isn't it a condemnable act that he acted against the instruction of his spiritual master?
Well, what had happened, Shukracharya told Bali Maharaj that this is Vishnu himself who has come to beg the 3 steps of plant. So, but Bali Maharaj, he wasn't a blind follower of the Guru. He also had knowledge of the scriptures. And he knew, according to scriptures, one's ultimate duty is to serve Vishnu. So when he heard that Shukracharya is trying to stop him from doing his eternal duty, ultimate duty, then he rejected the Guru. Because ultimate duty or ultimate instruction actually comes from scriptures. So one has to have knowledge of scriptures, not just one has to become sentimental, emotional, blind follower. So that way it was not condemned, but as you were trying to say commendable, it was really commendable. So that's why his pastime is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. But because he at the same time he rejected his guru Shukracharya cursed him that you will go down to hellish planets below Earth, subterranean planets. So Vaman Dev had to, because Shukracharya is also a Brahman, so Vaman Dev had to keep the word of Shukracharya. So he sent Bali Maharaj to Sutal Loka, which is below Earth. But actually, even below Earth, there are subterranean heavenly planets. So it's the Sutal Loka has more opulence than heavenly planet, but it is below Earth. And so Bali Maharaj is there, and Bali Maharaj, after the whole incident, Vamandev was very pleased with him. He asked for some benediction. So Bali Maharaj asked him that you also please come and live with me at Sutaloka. So Vamandev is acting like a gatekeeper of the palace of Bali Maharaj in Sutaloka. So that's a special relationship between the Lord and his devotee.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And now, since you talked about Bali Maharaj, in South India, I think Radha Prabhu or Raghu Prabhu, they can tell more. There is a place where they celebrate this occasion of Bali Maharaj. So they say once a year Bali Maharaj comes from Sutaloka on Earth planet, and they celebrate that day. I think it is Vaman Dvadashi, if I'm not wrong, but I could be wrong. And actually what happens is, because Vaman Dev is at Bali Maharaj's palace in Sutaloka, so now Lakshmi ji, she's the wife of Vaman Dev, she's wife of Vishnu, she went around and everybody told her she was looking for her husband, and they said your husband is in Sutaloka. So she went to Sutaloka. She told Vamandev, you come back to Vaikuntha. Vamandev said, I cannot come back. I have given word to my devotee. So Lakshmi ji goes inside the palace of Bali Maharaj, and not in the form of Lakshmi, but in the form of just a normal lady. Bali Maharaj welcomed her. He asked her, okay, what do you want? I can give you whatever you want. So Lakshmi ji, I think first she ties Rakhi on the hand of Bali Maharaj, make him his brother, and then she asks, okay, now you give me my husband back. Now you like my brother, you are my brother. So I'm forgetting the whole story. I think one of these devotees, they can tell better. So one day of the year, then Vaman Dev goes back, and that something like that happens.
It is the 4th day after Diwali. It is Bali Padhyami in Kartik Mas we celebrate.
Okay, so please tell the whole story.
Whole story I also don't know, but we do celebrate in honor of Bali Chakravarti, who is, treated as equivalent of God or blessed by the Lakshmi and God. So if you see the Diwali time, you're right, we pray Lord Lakshmi, and the fourth day it is dedicated to Bali because some connection between Lakshmi and Bali as a brother or whatever.
Yeah, because she asked him to become his brother, become
Yeah.
her brother. So that is the day when Bali Maharaj comes on Earth planet, right?
Yeah.
That one day, yeah, he comes here. Yeah. So wonderful pastimes happen. It's all over our scriptures. So we just have to observe them, follow them with faith. That's all.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions or comments? Prabhat Prabhu, you're in Hyderabad, and Raghu Prabhu is also in Hyderabad. You can get in touch with him.
Oh, is it? Great.
Yeah.
You are there here.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So we'll catch offline after this.
Okay,
Sure. Okay. So thank you all very much. You have a wonderful day. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.